The gathering storm. The chamber of the Galactic Coalition was a cathedral of steel and light, orbiting a dying red star on the edge of known space. Delegates from 24 species gathered in concentric tiers, their eyes fixed on the hologram hovering at the chamber's core. It was a simple sphere, blue oceans, white clouds, green continents. Earth. This world, rasped General Thrix of the Karth Dominion, his scaled hands tightening on the railing, is unclaimed, abundant, and defended only by primitives. A jewel ripe for conquest. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. For centuries, the coalition had expanded its borders without resistance. Planets fell like dominoes, their populations enslaved or extinguished. Against the vast armadas of the galaxy's strongest alliance, no world survived. Earth was simply the next in line. An insectoid strategist clicked her mandibles. The humans' energy output is pitiful. Their ships barely scratch orbit. Their weapons are ballistic toys. They are beneath consideration. Laughter echoed across the hall. Only one voice raised concern. Ambassador Lurok of the Veari, an elder species that preferred caution over conquest, tapped a claw against his console. We know little of them. Their transmissions, chaotic, constant, suggest unpredictable behavior. I recommend we study further before. His warning was drowned in derision. General Thrix slammed a fist against the podium. We are not here to cower before primitives. This council votes for action. Within one cycle, the invasion begins. The motion passed. Plans were set in motion, fleets assigned, armies mobilized. Earth's fate seemed sealed. Thousands of light years away, on a quiet night at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, Dr. Elaine Park rubbed her eyes and stared at the stream of anomalous data flooding her screen. For weeks, faint signals had been repeating from deep space, patterns too structured to be natural. At first, she thought it might be pulsar interference or even human-made noise bouncing through the atmosphere. But then came the translation attempt. The messages were not directed at Earth. They were between ships, fleets coordinating their approach. Elaine, her assistant, whispered, leaning over her shoulder. What are we looking at? She swallowed. A war council. Within days, intelligence agencies intercepted the same chatter. Cryptographers confirmed it. An armada was on the move, and its trajectory pointed directly at Earth. Panic rippled through the world's governments. Secret sessions convened in New York, Moscow, Beijing, and Geneva. Generals pored over projections. Even Earth's most powerful militaries admitted the same truth. They could not stop an interstellar fleet. Yet amid the fear, realization grew. Humanity was weak by galactic standards, but Earth was not. No world in the known records matched its volatility. Storms spanning continents, oceans deeper than alien atmospheres could withstand, jungles teeming with poisons, deserts that cooked machinery, mountains that scraped the stratosphere. Life on Earth had clawed its way through extinction after extinction, forging resilience in every creature, including humans. Colonel Marcus Hayes of the United States Special Operations Command voiced what many began to think. If they come, they'll learn the hard way. Earth isn't like their tamed colonies. Our world is a weapon. In a secret UN session, diplomats debated humanity's first message to the stars. Should they beg for mercy? Offer negotiation? Hide? Dr. Park shook her head. They're not coming to talk. They're coming to take. The only chance we have is to scare them away before they commit their full strength. What do you propose? The Secretary General asked. She smiled grimly. The truth. Across the skies, radio telescopes turned outward. Satellites synchronized. For the first time in history, humanity spoke with one voice. The message was brief. To those who plot invasion, this world is not safe. Every beast, every storm, every disease here is a predator. We are the children of this crucible. We do not surrender, and we do not die quietly. If you value your lives, our warning is simple. FLE. The words raced across the void, translated into dozens of frequencies, magnified until they pierced the dark between stars. On the Coalition warship, the message reached the generals. The hologram of Earth shimmered, now overlaid with the human broadcast. General Thrix listened, then laughed, his teeth glinting. They dare threaten us? With rocks and storms? With their fragile bodies? He turned to his council. Let them roar. They are insects before the storm. Others joined in his laughter, dismissing the warning as desperation. Only Ambassador Lurock remained silent, his eyes narrowing as he studied the human's words. He had seen empires fall before. Worlds thought weak had broken stronger conquerors through stubborn resilience. They are not bluffing, he whispered. But no one listened. On Earth, humanity braced for the storm. Militaries drilled. Civilians stockpiled. Scientists raced to weaponize every scrap of alien data intercepted. Fear lingered, but it was not the hopeless terror of prey. It was the grim readiness of a species that had survived ice ages, plagues, and wars of extinction. In the streets of every city, from New York to Nairobi, graffiti spread in bold, defiant letters. Flee! Thus the stage was set. The invaders came, laughing at warnings they thought were hollow. Humanity waited, knowing the truth. Earth itself would fight alongside them. The storm had gathered. The war for survival was about to begin. First contact, first mistake. The skies burned with fire. At first, humanity thought it was meteors, but telescopes quickly revealed the truth. Alien landing craft piercing the atmosphere, their hulls glowing red with re-entry. They came down over oceans, jungles, deserts, and cities, spreading like a contagion. The vanguard of the Coalition invasion had arrived. On board their command ship, General Thrix stood tall, claws folded behind his back. Deploy the vanguard in multiple environments, he ordered. Show these primitives what it means to resist the Coalition. The Armada obeyed. Troop carriers roared into Earth's atmosphere, carrying soldiers bred for conquest, their armor gleaming under alien suns. They expected resistance, primitive gunfire, perhaps even missiles, but what they found was far worse. The jungle's welcome. In the Amazon rainforest, a battalion of insectoid warriors disembarked, their chitin armor glistening in the humidity. They moved in formation, confident, their sensors sweeping for human activity. Within hours, the jungle attacked. First came the insects, swarms of mosquitoes, ants, and parasitic flies, slipping through armor seals, biting, burrowing. The aliens dismissed them at first, but soon their soldiers staggered, convulsing, dropping lifeless into the undergrowth. Predators followed. A jaguar leapt from the trees, its jaws clamping on a soldier's throat, dragging him into the foliage before his squad could react. Piranhas turned a river crossing into a massacre. Fungal spores infected entire units, their lungs filling until they drowned on dry land. By nightfall, half the battalion was gone, not from human weapons, but from Earth itself. Command, this planet is hostile. Their leader shrieked into his calm, the environment. It fights us. Static was the only reply. Desert of death. In the Sahara, another landing force marched across endless dunes. Their equipment gleamed with alien precision, calibrated for efficiency. The desert broke it all. Heat shimmered like a living beast, frying circuits and warping weapons. Armor designed for vacuum locked into place, baking soldiers alive inside their own suits. Sandstorms rose without warning, blinding and burying vehicles in minutes. When a column of alien walkers stumbled into a sinkhole, the desert swallowed them whole. At night, the temperature plunged so sharply that weapons cracked. Alien commanders, unprepared for a world of such extremes, realized too late that the desert was a battlefield that killed without firing a shot. Oceans of fury. From the depths of the Pacific, sleek submersibles emerged, bristling with alien harpoons and drones. Their mission: secure strategic undersea ridges for future bases. They did not survive the hour. Whales rammed their vessels, denting hulls with bone-shattering force. Squids the size of shuttles dragged drones into the abyss. Sharks, drawn by the blood of pierced soldiers, struck with relentless ferocity. One captain screamed as his viewport cracked under the crushing pressure. The ocean poured in, merciless and cold. His final sight was not a human enemy, but a dark shadow rising from the trench below, a creature older than civilizations, jaws wide enough to swallow his craft whole. Humanity strikes. While Earth itself tore at the invaders, humanity joined the fight. In the jungles, Brazilian special forces moved like ghosts, striking convoys with rocket fire before vanishing into terrain they knew as home. In the Sahara, Tuareg tribes guided strike teams through dunes, hitting supply lines, then melting away into the storm. On the oceans, submarines hunted alien craft with torpedoes, while fishing vessels planted mines disguised as buoys. Everywhere the aliens turned, resistance appeared. Irregular, improvised, but devastating. Humanity did not fight as one army, but as millions of individuals. Hunters, hackers, engineers, farmers, all turned their skills to war. A farmer in Kansas jury-rigged an alien plasma cell into a makeshift bomb, wiping out a patrol. A hacker in Seoul slipped a virus into the invaders' communications, scrambling orders mid-battle. A group of villagers in the Congo lured soldiers into marshes, where crocodiles finished what they started. The coalition breaks. Reports poured into General Thrix's command ship. The numbers were appalling. Casualties, 60% in the Amazon theater. Entire Sahara unit lost to environmental collapse. Ocean Vanguard, eradicated. No survivors. Thrix slammed his claws into the console. Impossible. These are primitives. How can they resist us? A trembling officer croaked. It is not just them, General. It is the planet. It is alive. Across the fleet, soldiers whispered the same word, Deathworld. Humanity's defiance. That night, in the ruins of a destroyed alien outpost, Colonel Marcus Hayes recorded a broadcast. His uniform was scorched, his face streaked with dirt, but his eyes burned with defiance. You thought we were weak. You thought our world was soft. But you've learned the truth now. Earth is a crucible. Every step you take here is against a predator, against the storm, against us. We warned you. We said one word, FLE. His message was hijacked into alien frequencies, echoing through their ships. Every soldier heard it. Every commander felt the sting of it. And in their hearts, fear began to grow. The whisper of fear. On the command ship, Ambassador Lurock spoke quietly, his voice lost amid shouts of anger and panic. They warned us, he murmured, and still we came. The first contact was our first mistake. His words carried across the chamber like a shadow, chilling even the proudest generals. For the first time, the coalition realized the humans had not been bluffing. The war had only begun, and already, the galaxy's greatest conquerors were bleeding. The war escalates. The first landings have been disasters. Jungle, desert, ocean, each theater had swallowed the invaders whole. But the coalition was not built on mercy or retreat. Where other empires might hesitate, the coalition doubled down. The council met aboard the Obsidian Crown, a dreadnought bristling with weapons large enough to glass continents. Alien generals shouted over one another, their voices carrying across the vast chamber. We underestimated the primitives, snarled General Thrix, pacing like a caged beast. The environment itself resists us, but we will burn their forests, boil their oceans, and crack their mountains. They cannot hide forever. The order went out. No more vanguards. No more tests. The full weight of the coalition armada turned toward Earth. The sky burns. The assault began with orbit-to-ground bombardment. Columns of plasma rained down from the heavens, striking cities in incandescent bursts. New York, Tokyo, Lagos, Mumbai. Whole districts vanished in seconds, reduced to molten glass. Mushrooming firestorms consumed neighborhoods, and skyscrapers toppled like matchsticks. In orbit, alien fleets blotted out the stars. Their weapons shimmered in arcs of blue and red, filling the night sky with a storm that turned darkness into day. But Earth did not break. From bunkers deep beneath mountains, humans coordinated resistance. From missile silos long dormant, Rockets streaked upward, their nuclear warheads slamming into alien carriers. Some were intercepted midair, but others struck true, detonating in blossoms of white light that shredded hulls and sent wreckage raining into the sea. In one night alone, 5 alien ships fell. Humanity had drawn blood again. Guerrilla Earth. The invasion pressed forward, but humanity adapted faster than the coalition could comprehend. Alien landing zones turned into traps. In Africa, militias armed with scavenged plasma rifles struck at dawn, vanishing before counterfire could respond. In South America, entire villages evacuated into the jungle, leaving behind poisoned food and booby-trapped shelters. The coalition expected ordered armies and surrender ceremonies. Instead, they faced chaos. No front lines, no rules, only a billion predators fighting back with everything they had. Colonel Marcus Hayes summarized it to his commanders. They're trained for war against soldiers. We'll give them hell from civilians. Every factory became a weapons plant. Every workshop became an arsenal. Farmers welded armor plates to tractors and rolled them into battle. Teenagers launched drones rigged with explosives, dropping them onto alien patrols. Hackers crippled enemy communications, inserting false orders that sent squadrons wandering into ambushes. Everywhere the coalition turned, the humans were waiting. The Battle of the Himalayas. The coalition chose the Himalayas as a fortress zone, believing its elevation and ridges would grant a strategic advantage. They deployed walkers the size of skyscrapers and armored carriers bristling with cannons. But the mountains favored the defenders. Human troops tunneled into the cliffs, emerging from hidden caverns with rocket fire. The thin air weakened alien physiology, while humans, adapted to altitudes for centuries, fought with grim determination. When plasma bombardments shook the mountains, avalanches roared down on alien columns, crushing them under tons of ice and stone. Entire platoons were swallowed whole before they could raise their shields. In the middle of the chaos, a squad of Nepalese Gurkhas descended on an isolated command unit. Armed with captured plasma blades and their traditional kukris, they carved through panicked soldiers, broadcasting the footage across alien networks. The message was unmistakable. The humans were not just surviving. They were hunting. The fear spreads. Reports circulated through the coalition fleet. Our desert divisions are gone. The storms ate them. Our ocean fleet, extinct. Their predators outmatch ours. The mountains themselves fight against us. Whispers began to spread among the lower ranks. Soldiers muttered the same word again and again, Deathworld. Veteran conquerors who had marched across dozens of planets now trembled in their armor. Their commanders barked discipline, but fear was a contagion they could not contain. For the first time in centuries, the coalition faced an enemy that did not bow, did not break, and did not fear them. Humanity's counterstroke. In underground labs, scientists reverse-engineered, salvaged alien tech at breakneck speed. Plasma rifles were stripped down and replicated. Shielding generators were studied, tweaked, and reassembled into crude but effective defenses. Engineers spliced alien drives into fighter jets, creating hybrid craft that could outmaneuver enemy interceptors. Hackers unleashed digital plagues into alien systems, frying navigation networks and turning targeting software into static. Within months, humanity went from prey to predator. Colonel Hayes watched as one of Earth's first captured frigates rose from a hidden hangar in the Rockies, its hull patched with mismatched steel. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't beautiful. But it was human, and it was armed. We're not just defending anymore, Hayes said to his staff. It's time we take the fight back to them. The turning point. The coalition struck again, this time with a massive offensive across Asia. Millions of troops, armored vehicles, and drones swept across the plains. Humanity responded with everything they had: guerrilla ambushes, scorched earth tactics, and relentless sabotage. At the height of the battle, hacked alien ships in orbit suddenly turned their weapons inward, bombarding their own fleet. Entire cruisers were reduced to slag before commanders cut the signals. On the ground, human and alien forces clashed in brutal combat. Plasma lit the skies. Smoke choked the air. And still, the humans pressed forward. By the end of the campaign, half the coalition fleet lay in ruins. The survivors limped back into orbit, terrified not of Earth's weapons, but of Earth itself. Whispers of retreat. In the shattered halls of the Obsidian Crown, generals argued in desperation. Our fleets are crippled. Our soldiers mutiny. The humans fight like demons. General Thrix raged against them, but even he could not ignore the truth. The Great Coalition was losing. Among the ranks, a phrase circulated like a curse. Soldiers etched it into their armor, muttered it in fear, passed it from one to another. They warned us to flee. Humanity's final message. The war that was supposed to last weeks had dragged into months, then years. The Coalition's once mighty fleets now limped across Earth's skies, fractured and demoralized. Their proud war banners, once symbols of inevitability, were now little more than targets painted against the void. Humanity had not only survived, humanity had adapted, and the Coalition, for all its firepower, was crumbling. Splintering of the invaders. Inside the Obsidian Crown, the Coalition's high command erupted in chaos. The Voran fleets are abandoning their posts. The Zareth legions refuse to deploy. Our soldiers refuse to leave their ships. What had begun as a united armada was splintering into frightened fragments. Each species blamed the others for failure. Accusations turned into brawls, brawls into assassinations. Ambassador Lurok watched in silence. He had warned them, but arrogance had deafened every year. Now the cracks spread too far to mend. They gave us their warning, he muttered to no one in particular. And we laughed. Humanity pushes back. On Earth, the resistance transformed into an offensive. Salvaged ships, patched with human steel and powered by alien drives, launched from hidden bases. They weren't sleek or beautiful, but they flew, and they killed. From Colorado, the captured frigate Independence roared into orbit. From Siberia, the dreadnought Kuznetsov rose, its hull scarred but bristling with weapons. Dozens more followed, the first human fleet forged from the bones of the enemy. Colonel Marcus Hayes stood on the bridge of the Independence, staring at the stars with grim satisfaction. 3 years ago, they came here to conquer, he said to his crew. Now we chase them from our skies. The first joint human assault launched. Crude human frigates darted between alien carriers, delivering devastating blows. Hackers on Earth scrambled coalition communications, turning battle into confusion. In coordinated strikes, orbital stations fell one after another. What remained of the once proud coalition armada broke and scattered. The chase. For the first time in history, humanity crossed the edge of its solar system, not as explorers, but as predators. Captured ships, still glowing with alien tech, pursued fleeing invaders to the Kuiper Belt. In the cold dark beyond Neptune, the last great coalition carrier made its stand. It didn't last long. Human ships swarmed like wolves, battering shields with relentless fire. Marines in stolen drop pods breached its hull, fighting room by room until the bridge was taken. When the surviving alien commander was dragged before Hayes, his body trembled with exhaustion and disbelief. "You were supposed to fall," the alien whispered. "You were supposed to break like every world before you." Hayes leaned close, his voice low and cold. "We told you. Flee." The commander bowed his head. For the first time, a coalition general begged for mercy. The broadcast, humanity, could have annihilated the retreating fleets. But instead, they chose something far more terrifying. Using captured transmitters, Hayes and his team broadcast a message across every coalition channel. It echoed through every ship, every colony, every listening station in the galaxy. The feed opened on images of Earth, hurricanes churning across oceans, volcanoes spitting fire, deserts swallowing caravans, jungles dripping with venom. Then came footage of humans, firefighters walking into infernos, climbers braving frozen peaks, soldiers dragging comrades through mud, civilians welding alien steel into weapons. And then Hayes himself appeared, scarred and unyielding. This is Earth. You came with fire, and we endured. You thought us weak. You thought our world soft. But Earth is no world. It is a crucible. Every creature here has been forged by death, by storm, by struggle. We are the children of this place. We warned you once. We will warn you only once more. If you value your lives, flee. Never return. The feed cut. Silence followed. Across the galaxy, millions of alien soldiers shivered. For the first time, the Coalition's enemies, those who had once lived in fear, began to whisper the word human with awe and terror. Aftermath. On Earth, the fires of war smoldered but did not consume. Cities rebuilt from ashes. Nations, once divided by borders and rivalries, stood united. Alien technology accelerated humanity centuries ahead. Within a generation, Earth launched fleets not of scavenged wreckage, but of its own design, rugged, brutal, resilient, just like the species that built them. Children grew up not in fear of aliens, but in pride that their parents had driven them back. Humanity had earned its place among the stars. The lesson. In his final years, Ambassador Lurock, one of the few Coalition leaders who survived, wrote the record that would outlive him. We thought them fragile, yet they endured more than any empire could. We thought their world soft, yet it was harsher than any we had known. We thought their warning a bluff, yet it was prophecy. The humans are not to be conquered. The humans are to be feared. Epilogue. Atop the rebuilt United Nations complex in New York, a banner flew, not of surrender, but of defiance. Painted in black letters for the galaxy to see, it carried the word that would forever define Earth's legacy. Flee.